In 2147 AD, when humans first encountered the galactic Commonwealth, it caused little more than a ripple. Primitive compared to the other members, humanity was viewed with pity as they struggled to expand and establish colonies in their local region. Most Commonwealth members quickly forgot about the fledgling human republic, while a few observed them with detached curiosity, studying their development into a spacefaring civilization, hoping to draw parallels with their own ancient past. My species, the Alani, took a greater interest, watching the young human polity with benevolent pride. We felt a deep kinship with humans, who out of all the Commonwealth species, were the most similar to us in appearance and anatomy, though we retained prehensile tails and an arboreal lifestyle. We saw them as cousin kin, almost as children, and we invested in their progress, quietly observing as they took their first steps into the vastness of space. We watched as they bravely ventured into the unknown, undeterred by the loss of ships and lives, their endless curiosity driving them to explore. Human scientists cataloged everything, from the tiniest alien microbes to the most exotic particles in dangerous stellar nurseries. Explorers would pick random stars to investigate, driven by a relentless urge to discover what lay beyond. Traders traversed established routes, selling their goods and curiosities to anyone willing to trade. Fascinated, we decided to open official diplomatic channels after years of observation. My father, the first appointed ambassador, played a crucial role in forming a relationship with our cousin kin. He became their most ardent supporter, sharing countless stories about the humans with me during my youth. One story that stayed with me was about a Xinin ship filled with younglings on a school trip, which became trapped by a subspace rift. Dozens of human ships responded to the distress call: scout ships, cargo ships, pleasure craft, science vessels, and even pirate ships, all trying to rescue the younglings. Many ships were destroyed or critically damaged, but the humans didn't give up. They persisted until they finally rescued the 25 Xinin younglings, though at the cost of 12 ships and over 800 human lives. Their willingness to sacrifice themselves for the young of another species was awe-inspiring. This incident, along with other examples of humans coming to the aid of alien worlds and ships in distress, finally convinced our government to assist humanity in their development. Though it was forbidden by the Commonwealth to give primitive species technology they hadn't yet developed, our government found ways around these restrictions. Ilani ships would conveniently disappear or be destroyed by random anomalies near human space, only for their technology to be recovered by human agents. The Xinin went even further, sending an unmarked stealth ship into human space, loaded with their most advanced technology and a repository of all their knowledge. Over the next 20 cycles, humanity advanced rapidly, making a 300-year leap thanks to the secret assistance. The Commonwealth held hearings and investigations at the highest levels, but no proof was ever found of any members deliberately uplifting the humans, and the issue was quietly shelved. By this time, the human republic had expanded greatly and was now considered a middle power. Their ships were everywhere, engaging in trade, scientific endeavors, and exploration. Our two species became kin and close friends, and together with the Xinin, we tried in vain to lobby the Commonwealth to grant the human republic membership. This was vehemently denied by a majority of the members. My father was furious, but the humans seemed unbothered. The human ambassador merely remarked, "As long as they keep buying our goods, we couldn't care less what they think of us. It's only the Alani and the Xinin who have shown us friendship, and only your opinions matter to us." Such was the situation in 2172 AD when the insectoid empire launched another wave of expansion, encroaching on Commonwealth space once again. The insectoids, a hive mind of trillions of wasp-like beings, would periodically expand and engage in short, sharp conflicts with the Commonwealth and other non-aligned interstellar species, seizing territory. The planets they preferred were considered unfit for terraforming by most Commonwealth members, who would simply withdraw, hoping to avoid large-scale conflict. It was impossible to engage in diplomacy or negotiations with the insectoids, as their worldview was so radically different. Their only communication with the Commonwealth was a simple ultimatum: give, leave. Failure to comply resulted in combat. The insectoid ships were numerous and exceedingly powerful, especially their hive ships, which dwarfed even our largest battleships. The Commonwealth, expecting this wave of expansion to stop once the insectoids had seized the planets they desired, was caught off guard when the insectoid fleet penetrated the borders and thrust deep into the heart of Commonwealth space. The Commonwealth fleet was out of position, and 6,000 insectoid cruisers swarmed out, wreaking havoc. They destroyed every ship they encountered, while 60 of their massive hive ships glassed entire worlds, wiping out every living thing without mercy. Within 2 solar days, the entire outer sectors of Commonwealth space were devoid of life and ships. 8 member species were completely exterminated, at the cost of over 100 billion lives. The Commonwealth fleet was reduced to half its former strength and issued a call for the remaining members to reinforce the beleaguered main fleet with their planetary navies. We Alani, along with other members, sent what forces we could and hoped it would be enough. The humans, having learned of the attack, sent an official subspace communication with an already signed treaty of alliance and mutual defense pact. The Commonwealth government arrogantly ignored it, and the ambassador assigned to the humans didn't even bother to respond. That was the first and last time the humans attempted to help the Commonwealth in their time of need. The reinforced Commonwealth fleet, now numbering over 2,000 ships, launched a counterattack. Initially, it met with success, destroying over 3,000 insectoid cruisers before the 60 hive ships entered the fray, turning the tide in favor of the insectoids. Within 2 hours of the hive ships' arrival, the Commonwealth fleet was reduced to under 1,000 ships, with only an additional 300 insectoid cruisers and 1 hive ship destroyed. The surviving Commonwealth ships disengaged and made an orderly withdrawal, heading toward the core worlds, hoping to lure the insectoids into a trap. The core worlds had powerful defensive fortifications and planetary defense grids, and the admirals planned to bracket the insectoids between the defensive systems and the remaining fleet. The insectoids followed to the outskirts of the core system, but then did the unexpected. They entered null space and laid in a course for the untouched periphery of Commonwealth space, where 4 member systems, including the Alani, resided. I remember sitting with my father and birth mother, listening to the hollow wave continuously broadcasting our government's plea for help. The news showed drone recordings of 2 member systems along the insectoid axis of attack, their homeworlds and colonies glassed, over 20 billion dead. The insectoid fleet was on a direct course for our system, expected to arrive in 5 solar days. Our entire world held its breath as we finally received a response from the Commonwealth, a statement that the fleet would not be able to come to our aid. They would detach what remained of the Alani contingent and send them to defend our system, but they wouldn't arrive for 6 solar days. Then, suddenly, another transmission appeared. The President of the Human Republic, sitting in her office with a resolute expression, gazed into the hollow camera, seeming to peer into our terrified souls. In a voice that promised both death and salvation, she simply stated, "We are the Republic, and we will answer the call. Hold on. We are coming." The transmission ended, and the hollow wave screen returned to the news studio, where the anchor sat in stunned silence. Birth mother fainted, while father leapt out of his chair, hooting and swinging around like a crazed youngling. I just sat there, overwhelmed by the enormity of our impending doom, unable to understand father's reaction. He finally noticed mother and helped her as she sobbed in his arms. He looked at me, noticing my confusion. "You're wondering why I'm overjoyed at the prospect of our human friends coming to help us," he said. "I know in school you're taught that humans are a middle power, but have you ever wondered why we've never seen any of their warships in space?" I didn't answer, still wondering what a middle power warship could do against the insectoids. "I've seen one of their warships," he continued. "And I've seen the records of their history of warfare against each other. No species in the Commonwealth could stand against them, despite technological differences." He paused, considering his next words. "The friendly humans we know have another side to them, a side no one else has ever seen. In spacefaring civilizations, people like the humans tend to destroy themselves before reaching space. But against all odds, they made it through the great filter." His eyes took on an expression I'd never seen before. "The human ambassador told me something after the Commonwealth rejected their membership proposal. He said, 'There is no greater friend and no worse enemy than a human being. God help them if they ever attack us or our allies.' It wasn't a boast, my youngling, it was a truth spoken with a conviction I've never heard from another sentient being. You know the sacrifices they made to save those 25 Zenin younglings. They didn't know them. Imagine what they'd do for their friends and allies." He let go of my arms and embraced me. "Fear not. Our friends are on the way, and they will save us all." The conviction in his voice seemed to reach into my heart, filling me with peace. I quietly sobbed tears of hope and joy, believing for the first time that we might not die after all. For the next 2 solar days, we waited for the humans to arrive. watching the sensor drones record the insectoid fleet's march toward our homeworld. Periodically, our government sent inquiries about the Republic fleet's arrival, only to receive a curt one-sentence response: "We are coming." Finally, on the third solar day, one day before the expected insectoid arrival, we received a transmission from the outskirts of our solar system: "We are here." This was followed by a request for permission to enter the system, which was immediately granted. Every news camera, sensor buoy, and satellite was pointed at the expected coordinates. Time seemed to stand still as billions of Alani waited for their last hope to drop out of null space. Then it happened. First in small numbers, then dozens, then hundreds. Null space exit flashes popped up all around near space Alania, lighting up our sky like new stars, even on the daytime side of the world. The Holo News channel we watched displayed the number of ships, estimated classes, and tonnage, the numbers ticking upward so fast it was impossible to follow. Father and mother hugged and cried tears of joy while I stood in shock at the numbers on the screen: 3,250, 4,789, 5,347, 6,094. The cameras panned back to take in the enormous fleet, while sensor drones did flybys, sending visuals to every hollow-wave screen on Alania. There were dozens of massive carriers, thousands of starfighters swarming around them, over 500 battleships, and thousands of cruisers and destroyers. Other ships defied classification, with scanners unable to read them. Another transmission from the fleet came through, showing a human male in a military uniform on a massive bridge, surrounded by hundreds of humans working on data screens. "People of Alania, we are the Republic fleet, and we have come to help our friends in their time of need. We honor our commitments, and I promise you that if the insectoids prevail, it will only be because every Republic ship has been destroyed. We are humans, and we do not run. We are here to fight and win. Please listen to all orders from your government and find safety wherever you can. Good fortune to you all. Admiral Thompson, out." The transmission ended, and the visuals returned to the fleet, which was already spreading out into the system in individual task forces centered around the carriers. Destroyers began dropping hundreds of small items that quickly disappeared from view on randomized paths.